The art of the price reduction.
So let's talk about the price reductions that we're seeing, because we are seeing a lot of them these days on various properties that are on the market right now, right?
Oh my gosh, they're happening more now than in the last 2 or 3 years. And although the homes that are totally move-in ready, that are priced attractively, although those homes are flying off the market, what we're noticing is that there are many homes that are not flying off the market. So what do you do if your home is not flying off the market?
Well, even though you don't want to think about doing a price reduction, a lot of times there's a lot of money on the line. This is a massive asset that you're selling, so you have to have that conversation, right? So most of you know we follow Stephen Thomas, a really well-known economist who puts out a report, the OC Housing Report. If you want a copy of that, by the way, send us a message and we're happy to send it to you. It's really awesome and comprehensive and data and analytical. It's cool.
Yeah, if you like the numbers, Stephen Thomas report is like, it's money.
So yeah, and why don't you go into some of the stats in the previous report that we received about price reduction?
Okay, cool. So Stephen Thomas, he breaks it up into 3 categories. So the first category is if you come out the gates strong, right off the bat. So these sellers never reduced their price. The seller who never reduced their price sold in an average of 8 days on the market for a total price of 101.3% of their original list price.
Yeah, and that's what every seller wants. That's the dream. And actually, that was like roughly around 88% of sales like recently that they said were doing that. So that's happening a lot. However, there are some that are reducing. And so properties that had to reduce anywhere from 1% to 4% sold on average for 95.4% of their original list price and stayed on the market for an average of 33 days. So that's like weeks longer than the 8 days before. So
oh yeah, and we all know the more the days on market grows, the less and less the buyers are interested. So the third category is for sellers who had to drop their price 5% or more. On average, these sellers sold for 83.6% of their original list price, which is really a big delta. And to make matters worse, it took them almost 2 months, with the average seller selling in 54 days who did a price reduction of 5% or more. So the key factor here is pricing smart right out of the gate will almost always net you more money in a shorter amount of time.
yeah, I mean, and so let's say you do find yourself in a situation where you have a stale listing, and these days it doesn't take long because the market's still moving fairly quick. So usually in the first week or 2, it can be very telling what's going on with your listing and how the price is. And this can depend on and vary by price range as well too.
Absolutely, but what you don't want to do is find yourself caught in the too little, too late world, right? Where you are chipping away at the price, or you're waiting a little bit too long to make the price reduction that you know you need to make, which is why there truly is an art to the price reduction. So when we're talking about you've got a property, it's gone stale, you're now discussing, hey, should we drop the price? How much do you drop the price? Like, how does that all work?
Well, I would say, and the rule of thumb is a good rule of thumb, is a minimum of 3% when you do it for the first time. And sometimes it can be as much as up to 10% depending on the circumstances. So what do you think? Do you think 10% is just insane? Comment below and let us know if you think reducing 10% is just ridiculous and off the charts.
Totally. And look, reductions that are less than 3% are a true red flag of desperation. And in our experience, buyers, when they see a small price reduction, will taste blood and they'll come in even lower than your price reduction. And so they'll feel as if you're desperate. And while we're talking about being desperate, if you're desperate for more real estate content, like the kind of stuff that Ryan and I are putting out, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future videos. Let's get back to the video. I don't know about you, Ryan, but when I'm selling something, I would much rather negotiate up than down. And I want to share an experience with the viewers of our Bell Green listing. So we got the home ready. We did our whole 5-point audit. It was ready to go. It was beautiful. And we looked at the market, we looked at the inventory, and there was no competition. We knew we could sell the home for about $1,050,000 to maybe $1,075,000, and we thought, well, let's give it a shot. It's a hot market. Let's try it at 1.1. And although the open house had good activity and the feedback was good, the private showings during the week were basically non-existent. It was crickets. And by day 7, we got together with the owners and we were like, okay, look, here's what happened, here's what we want, here's where we are now, what should we do? And we talked about all these different strategies in terms of price reductions, but what we decided to do was we actually decided to drop it to under 1 million. So we did over a 10% drop, which was very scary at the time, but it absolutely worked. What happened was, because we were still in the first week of the listing, there was still a lot of demand for this property, and within 3 days or 4 days of dropping the price to $998, we got 5 offers, and the property ended up selling for $1,077,000, which is just $23,000 below our original list price.
Yeah.
So even though we missed the mark in the beginning, we were proactive and got ahead of it, and we actually made it work.
Yeah, I mean, and had you chipped away at that price, you probably would have sold for less. There's probably no guarantee you would have got even close to that price if you just chipped away at it.
I think back at, well, what if we would have dropped it from 1.1 to $1,075,000, and I feel like we would have gotten offers lower than $1,075,000,
yeah.
and we probably would have sold somewhere between $1,010,000 to $1,050,000.
Yeah.
And so I feel as though this aggressive price drop, re-engaging the activity on the property and getting multiple offers really put us in the driver's seat. So we went from being desperate sellers that were chipping away at our price to sellers in the driver's seat that were motivated to get this property sold to the highest bidder.
Yeah. So when do you want to drop the price? You know, that's the big question. When do you do it? Well, obviously while the iron is still hot, listings can get stale depending on price point in as little as a week and much as a couple weeks down the road. It's very telling in the first couple weeks because of the activity. And here's how we track and consider it. A couple ways that we look at it is the online engagement, buyer views and saves on like the third-party Zillow and Realtor sites.
Yep.
Online inquiries, calls and texts to the office line asking about the property, the open house attendance and feedback, private showings and feedback from agents as well, buyers that'll keep it real with you and agents that keep it real with you and let you know what's going on, what they think of the price and how it shows. And then also offers, obviously, right? Are you getting threats of offers?
Yeah.
Are people sending you offers? If the answer is no, you might want to reduce.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just like oh, it's been a week or oh, it's been 2 weeks and we haven't gotten an offer, let's drop the price.
Right.
A lot of thought goes into the different avenues of how we determine whether or not a property is on buyers' radars. And if we feel as though there's opportunity to sell at the price that we're at with our strategy, we'll leave it.
Yeah.
But if we feel as though we need to make an adjustment, we would much rather make a proactive decision than make a reactive decision. And again, every situation is case by case. So if you're watching this going, oh, a week is too short or a week is too long, just know that this strategy works specifically for this seller. But what we are saying is that with the market the way it is now, sometimes a week will definitely give you an indication of, are we on the right track or are we not on the right track?
Right. And as you can see, there's a lot that goes into selling a home successfully. And when you don't do it right the first time, you can still achieve the optimal outcome with the right team and the right approach, which is what we've been talking about here today.
Yeah, so if you guys are watching and you're thinking about selling or buying in the Newport or surrounding area of Orange County, send us a message. And don't forget to like and comment and subscribe to our channel for more great content like this.